It's a big week in Ireland, so I'm delighted to catch up with the boss of the Curragh, Keogh, joins me. You must be excited, first of all, just to be back racing, because I think at one stage we didn't quite know what was going to happen, did we?
Yeah, it was kind of funny for us because we were only a few days off our first meeting of the year, which should have been on the 29th of March. And the curtains came down on the Tuesday of that week. So we were 3 days off racing again. And we were very excited about showing off the new Curragh this year. We'd done a few things during the winter, so we were all set. The curtain came down. So it's been a very difficult period for everyone. But look, health is the most important thing, and that was the absolute priority. So we were delighted to get the green light, and to be going with such a big meeting this weekend is fantastic. So yeah, there's a huge amount of excitement here, Laura.
Yeah, I bet there is. And even though the Irish Guineas is happening just a week after the English one, you haven't been let down in terms of field size, have you? 15 runners on Friday. It's brilliant.
Yeah, lots of runners. And the field size for the Tattersalls Irish 2000 Guineas it's good to see that number of runners and that amount of trainers represented in the field as well. And of course, since last year, Siskin has been a horse that knows his way around the Curragh very well. And after his performance, after two really exceptional performances here last year, people have been looking forward to seeing him back again. So great excitement, looking forward to the race.
Just explain the situation with regards to English horses, because there aren't any this weekend, but you tell me that could change quite soon.
Yeah, I think there were two issues concerning that. I think with the program changes, England had their Guineas in Newmarket last weekend, and then you've Royal Ascot starting next Tuesday. So there's an awful lot of very good quality racing in England. You know, it's all condensed in. So normally the horses would have gaps between the English Guineas, the Irish Guineas, and Ascot, and that gap wasn't there this year. So that was always going to be an issue. But there is another issue with the challenge there at the moment, and that is for anyone coming into Ireland at the moment, they have to go into isolation for 14 days. So that presented problems. For a trainer wanted to send a horse over. His groom would either have to come here 14 days in advance, or so that to deal with it. But there is a way around that. There's a way which has been used by the breeding industry at the moment. And that is that a trainer could bring a horse over here, have the horse boxed over here, and that horse would go into the care of an Irish agent, a groom, a trainer, whatever would actually be, would take responsibility for that horse, and look after the horse for the day of the 2 days that we're here, and then would return to England again. So there is a way around it. There's a way of actually having runners here. But to be honest with you, Laura, it really wasn't going to happen with the amount of racing that there is in England. And that mechanism just isn't quite ideal. So we look forward to some relaxation of that when the government here relaxes the rules on the period of isolation, which will happen hopefully at some stage. And once that happens, we'll be through that. But I mean, it would be possible for a horse to come over at the moment, but unfortunately, we won't have English runners this weekend.
Well, still, as we've said, really, really great fields. And you've got a kind of interesting format. You're racing on a Friday evening, if you like. And there's not much other professional sport going on in Ireland at the moment, is there? So you should hopefully get some pretty good viewing figures.
Yeah, it's the only live sport in Ireland at the moment. And that's great. And the same way as you saw in England when racing came back, the audiences were very, very high. And the audiences here on racing TV have been exceptional. Have been exceptional so far. And there's lots of streaming as well. So I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to showcase racing. So this weekend, there'll be Racing TV who cover all the Irish racing. In addition to that, RTE who provide the terrestrial TV coverage in Ireland. And they now have a program every single weekend covering racing, which is a change, and that's a great opportunity for us. And in addition to that, ITV will be providing terrestrial TV coverage into the UK as well, so that the Tattersalls Irish 2000 Guineas will be shown in England on Friday night as well. So moving the races, moving the cards later in the day was to increase the potential of the TV coverage. And, that's a great opportunity for us to showcase racing and also to showcase the Curragh as well, Laura.
I look forward to watching it here in Dubai. What will the Curragh look like this weekend? Because obviously you've had to put quite a lot of safety measures in place.
Yeah, there's very strict protocols in place so that everything can be run very, very safely. Those protocols were in place for the 10 meetings that took place before the lockdown. They've been revised now, and we will use those protocols. So, I mean, effectively, no one will be here that doesn't have to be here. So there's no members of the public here. Unfortunately, there's no owners, which is really disappointing because the owner is the one who pays all the bills. But we put packages in place for owners to try and bring as much of the racing to them as we possibly can. And that's something we'd like to see, the earliest opportunity to get owners back onto the race courses again. And then, there are restrictions on, no one over 70 can come to the race course, so that will exclude a number of the people. So a number of trainers won't be able to be here. And to be honest with you, people are asked to come and do their business and leave. Mm-hmm. So that if a jockey has one ride, that jockey will come, will ride, and will then leave the race course afterwards. So look, it's safe. It's not racing as we would like it to be, but it's really important that racing comes back everywhere, because racing drives the whole industry. So having the racing, that's the absolute priority. And yeah, we'll miss all the public, and yes, we'll miss the owners, but there will be a time for that, hopefully before too long. But the priority is that the racing goes ahead and racing is safe, which it absolutely is.
And you might know more about the owner situation and indeed whether or not you'll get crowds back this year at the end of July?
Yeah, well, at the moment, I mean, we were doing this, the country was doing this in stages. And last week, the second stage was last Friday. And at that stage, they accelerated some things because thankfully, Ireland is doing well, is managing COVID well. The government have done a really good job of it. So our numbers are coming right, and there's small bits of relaxation. So on the 20th of July, there's another revision at the end of June, but at the end of July, the government has said at that stage that the audiences can come to sports, live sport again, but they'll be very strictly controlled. And really, that will probably be driven. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge between now and then, and hopefully will continue to improve. So it'll depend on the numbers, the relaxation, because even though at the moment they're saying the 20th of July is when people will be welcome back to sports venues, that's subject to review nearer that time. So it might be a small acceleration on that day, be able to do a little bit more, or if things don't improve, they could go further out. But at the moment, we're looking forward to that date. But within that, then, what would the race courses be like? Because the social distancing is currently 2 meters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that very much restricts you into how you can have, how you can accommodate numbers with that kind of safety limit on it. So what it's going to look like, that's all for another day. The priority now is to make sure we race safely, get racing going again, that having the whole program in place is so important. And our program reverts to normal after this weekend. Our Guineas obviously should have been run much earlier than this, but after this, the rest of our fixtures are on schedule for the rest of the year as they are. So there will be normality coming back into it. And of course, having racing back is great because that enables the breeze up sales to take place. And the sales companies have been waiting for that. So that's very, very important as well. So, it's not as we would like it to be, but I'll tell you, it's very, very good.